So what we have is we have a Atlanta axial OAA joint compression. I could get her on the table and probably treat that in 5 minutes. In fact, I could do this right here and just do this and start to pull those vertebral segments back in the lower neck. I can get under the occiput, look down with your eyes. I can stretch your suboccipitals. We can rotate this way, turn your eyes to the right. And deep breath, now look down. There we go. Now we should have good left rotation. And good right rotation. Now she leaves the chiropractor's office, walk to the table and back. Due to the flat foot and the overpronation of the ankle, the tibia is internally rotating, the femur is immediately rotating. The ilium has an anterior rotation going on in the right ilium around the sacrum. She's got an enhanced lumbar curve developing into scoliosis of the thoracic spine and locking down the OA. Now let's see if anything I did lost it. Good luck resetting all this stuff and not treating ascending. So what I want you to do is I want one of you to weight bear like she's weight bearing, and ideally, what do you see in her feet right now as she stands there? What's going on with the right foot compared to the left? External rotation. Either coming from the hip or the knee, right? Plus an ascending syndrome from a flat foot that overpronates, which is working its way back into the knee, back spine, back. So kinetic chain means watch them walk. One of the things I want you all to do is when you swipe the arch, there needs to be at least 2 fingers of space under there. These bones need to lift. They need to spring when they weight bear. So when they weight bear, they can lock down, but they should spring back up when that foot comes off the ground to go to the next step. That's called the stirrup spring system. And we're going to see this more on the animation tomorrow. This will make more sense after the animation tomorrow. Right now, just get your shoes and socks off and see if everybody has a normal arch. A normal arch would be like this with 2 fingers supporting the mid-arch. Or do they have a flat foot, which tends to bring the knees together from ladder up. Assess the arch. You look like you have a pretty good arch. Can you come up here and stand next to her? And just roll up your pant legs to the knee or above your ankle.
All of my legs on the outside of my
So ideally, I should be able to, you can see the arch here, you can see the space here. And I should be able to get 2 fingers comfortably under there without dropping of the arch. So, in my opinion, you need a support that's going to lift the mid-arch. Let's take a look at the bones at the foot here. Your arch has good lift on the cuboids and the cuneiforms and so on. There's good lift. So when you weight bear, it can spring down, but it lifts back up. Yours is like that. Ligaments are stretched long. Nerves are overstretched. Posterior tibialis is under stress tension, which could scar down the tibial nerve. So we need to get you on the table tomorrow and sort of reshape some of these. And then they could cast and customize the perfect support of that arch with the right podiatrist. Not something out of a bag that fits all, but a perfect cast for that arch. Can you walk up and down, both of you, and watch their feet, see if one pronates, one supinates. Just watch their patterns, and we'll shoot from the back. As they walk, you just shoot behind them. Go ahead and walk down it. So it should be calcaneus into the first metatarsal. He's got a good foot strike on the right, but not on the left. His is dropping on the left. He's got a better movement on the right. She's overpronating bilaterally. And that overpronation bilaterally causes valgus stress of the knees, sacral torsions, and it works its way up into the OA. So what's the difference between being on the table and assessing your ankle and being on the floor? And which one is closed kinetic chain?
Floor.
It changes the whole dynamics, doesn't it? Anybody have any questions? So, do you have any foot or ankle problems?
A little bit on my right.
What is it?
Well, I sprained it real bad 4 years ago.
What's a sprain? What's injured if he has a sprain?
Ligaments.
Now, did you roll it in or did you roll it out?
I rolled it like this, and I rolled
So
it.
which way would his talus go if he has a supination sprain? Which way would the talus slide? It would slide lateral, which is called valgus or varus. It's going lateral to the joint above it. If we start talking clinical, we're going to get the respect we deserve in the world of manual therapy. Valgus is towards the midline, varus is away from the midline, so if it slides lateral, it's going to restrict eversion and dorsiflexion, isn't it? So if we don't get good position of that talus, so I would expect him to have limited dorsiflexion and limited eversion if he sprains the lateral. So you've got to be thinking through, what am I going to find based on your type of sprain? Some people overpronate. You should be more likely for valgus stress because your talus is more likely going to slide to the midline due to a flat foot and a fallen arch. She's more prone to posterior tibial stress syndrome because of overstretching of the posterior tibialis and the tibia. So you see how we would treat these two different. One tends to supinate, the other one tends to pronate. Very different joint dysfunctions at the ankle. And that extends into the knee, back, spine, and neck. It's going to affect the shoulder. Okay. Stand up one more time, everybody, and do this. What is pronation? What three motions make up pronation? Dorsiflexion, eversion, and abduction. So it basically rolls out too much. Pronation. What three motions make up supination? Opposite. Plantar, inversion, adduction. Which way is the talus going to slide in the supinating sprained ankle? Lateral. Which way is it going to slide in the supinating pronated ankle? Medial. Different joint function. If we don't restore joint function, we can't restore muscle balance. Through positional release of the articular ligaments, we can improve joint function. The talus should do this, the calcaneus should do this, but when it's out of alignment, it affects nerves and ligaments. So let's mimic bilateral pronation by rolling to the inside of both ankles, and it drives your knee into a valgus stress towards the midline. Do that, exaggerate that, and just feel what happens in those people that live in bilateral pronation. You've adapted to it, but for me it feels very awkward when my knees come in due to overpronation of my feet. Now roll to the outside and feel that varus stress. Now rotate one into pronation and the other one into supination, but do it when you're relaxed. Feel your pelvis rotate around your spine. So that person that I watch in the airport, that's one foot's pronating, this is how they walk. They walk with this pelvic rotation. What's going on? So let's freeze frame it. So they walk with this pelvic rotation, and then they have to compensate so they can see where they're going. Now they have rotoscoliosis of the lumbar spine. You wonder why your back hurts. Got to get that twist out. But if we get the twist out of the iliums to derotate the lumbar spine, we have to look at the role of the foot that's causing that ascending syndrome. Now, if one foot, here's normal foot strike. Calcaneus, first metatarsal, moves through, right? Calcaneus, first metatarsal. Are you getting this on the big screen? Calcaneus, first metatarsal. But here's an overpronation knee pattern. What am I going to blow out? ACL, MCL, medial meniscus. So we're going to have to look at those kinetic chain patterns. So just watch people walk sometimes. When I'm in the airport, I watch them walk. What's this person? What's wrong with this person, your friend?
That's what I was thinking, Charlie Chaplin.
But you could say piriformis, but I guarantee you there's going to be some capsular involvement, and there's going to be some tibial torsion involvement. And it's going to affect that rest of the body, that shoulder.
Could be somebody who was a dancer instead of.
It could be. In fact, my dance instructor who teaches me ballroom dance, even though my wife is a ballroom dance instructor, she gives me private lessons at maybe this evening, which I love. I love private dance. But my ballroom instructor just called me again. He said, I'd walk in, he'd be turned like this. I go, don't stand like that. But my knees are killing me. So I just taught him to stand different.
Yeah.
Just knee pain. So I said, if you're going to pick on my posture when I dance, I don't want to walk in and see you doing this and complaining of knee pain. Okay? So he called me up the other day, he goes, I've got this swelling in my foot, my doctor says it's plantar fasciitis, it's not, he's got a flat foot, he's got a stressed tibial nerve. He goes, well, you know a surgeon? I go, you don't need a surgeon, you need a good massage therapist. Because he overpronates.
So who'd you send?
Huh?
So who'd you send?
We're gonna exchange therapy for, yes.
That works.
What did you do with just the orthotics out of all?
You would, I would recommend orthotics. Do you have orthotics? Do you want them? Does it lift your arch? I would recommend that. But here's what I would recommend. When you reshape the foot, which we can do in therapy,
But you gotta stay for long.
then
for
you
next
cast
day.
it. Then you cast it. And you can inject the ligaments with PRP or prolotherapy to tighten them up to stabilize joint function. So you either need PRP or stem cell injections or the proper custom fit orthotic when the foot's reshaped, where the orthotic needs to hold it in that position. Have a seat. We'll talk about what we're going to do tomorrow.